The dispatcher's voice cut through the static of my cruiser. A 911 hang-up, a woman screaming next door. Standard call, right? But when I got there, the house was dark, silent, and the front door was cracked open, just an inch, waiting for me. I cleared the first floor. Nothing. Upstairs, I found a trail of blood leading to the bathroom. The shower curtain was closed. I pulled it back, empty, but the blood was fresh. And that's when I heard it, a floorboard creak from the floor I had already cleared. I wasn't alone. Have you ever had that feeling? The one where every hair on your neck stands up because you know something is watching you from the darkness? That you're the one being hunted, not the hunter? In nearly a decade as a K-9 handler and patrol officer, most nights blend together. But the nights I'm about to tell you about, they're the reason I still check my mirrors, the reason I trust my dog more than my own eyes. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why some doors should never be opened. My name's not important, but my job was. For almost 9 years, I was a K-9 handler. My partner, Rex, a 4-year-old German Shepherd, was the best in the department. Trained in tracking and narcotics, he was solid, ice in his veins. I'd taken him into warehouses, abandoned houses, and dark woods at night, and he never once flinched. So when we got the call to assist on a quiet suburban street, I didn't think much of it. A foot pursuit. Suspect vanished near a house. Side gate open. Back door unlocked. Standard stuff. Patrol had cleared the first floor, but they weren't comfortable. They wanted the dog. They wanted Rex. I gave Rex the command, and he pulled forward, eager. We cleared the first floor. Kitchen, living room, laundry room, all clear. Then we went upstairs. That's where things stopped making sense. That's where I learned that a dog's fear is 1,000 times louder than his bark. The room Rex wouldn't enter. Upstairs was a narrow hallway, 3 bedrooms, a bathroom. No draft, all windows closed. We cleared the first 2 bedrooms easily. Then Rex pulled toward the bathroom at the end. The room was clean, too clean. But as Rex sniffed around the vanity, he froze. His ears went forward, his whole body stiffened. He started growling, a deep, guttural sound I'd never heard from him. He was staring out into the hallway. I stepped out, my heart pounding. "What is it?" I whispered. And then I saw it. At the very end of the hall, near the last bedroom door, a figure was standing. Tall, dark, completely still. It wasn't one of my guys. I identified myself. "Police, I have a canine." No response. "Who is that?" Nothing. Rex was pulling backwards, trying to get away. I'd never seen that. Then the figure just turned and walked into the bedroom. I called for backup, my voice shaking more than I'd like to admit. Have you ever had to force yourself to do something every instinct told you not to? I pulled Rex forward. He resisted every step, looking at me like I was crazy for making him go toward that room. When we reached the doorway, he planted his feet. He would not cross the threshold. I stepped in alone, weapon up. The room was empty. Bed against the wall, a dresser, window closed and locked, closet empty, no attic access, nothing. The other officers came up. They saw Rex. They tried to coax him in. He wouldn't budge. We tore that room apart, checked for false walls, trap doors. There was nothing, absolutely nothing. I had to get Rex out of there. As soon as we hit the night air, he relaxed, but in his crate, he curled up and wouldn't look at me, not the way he usually does. I've replayed it 1,000 times. Maybe it was the suspect, and he found some way to escape that I missed. But I know one thing for certain. That room was empty, and Rex, the bravest dog I've ever known, would rather have faced an armed suspect than step foot inside it again. Across the room, there's another door. I command whoever is inside to come out slowly with their hands up. Silence. I open the door. A man in his mid-40s is huddled in the corner. He had been held captive for 2 years. The homeowner had left his phone behind, and the victim used Siri to call us. But when I ordered him to come out, he froze. Not because he couldn't, but because after 2 years of being forced to speak like a child, to be someone he wasn't, he was terrified that if he moved, I would shoot him, thinking he was the monster. The scream in the night. The third call was the most frustrating. A woman reported hearing screaming next door. By the time I arrived, the street was dead silent, a normal house. But the front door was cracked open. Inside, everything was normal. A glass of water still on the table. Then upstairs, a knocked-over lamp, a spot of blood on the carpet, a trail to the bathroom, more blood in the tub. I'm alone in this house with fresh blood and no victim. That's when I hear a creak from the first floor. I go back down and see a door near the refrigerator, slightly ajar. It leads to a basement. The light doesn't work. I go down. The basement is unfinished. I step off the last stair and see a chair in the middle of the room, a metal folding chair. The floor beneath it is covered in blood, a lot of blood. The chair has zip ties on the armrests. They're cut. I scan the rest of the basement. That's when my light hits movement in the far corner. A figure bolts behind a stack of boxes. I yell for them to stop and move toward them. They're fast, heading toward the back where there's a small window near the ceiling. I hear glass shatter. By the time I reach that corner, the window is broken, and whoever it was has forced themselves through. I climb out after them, cutting my hand on the glass. Outside, it's still raining. I can see a dark shape sprinting toward the alley at the end of the block. I chase, but I lose them once they turn the corner. Backup arrives. We set up a perimeter. K-9 responds. Detectives come out, but we never find the person who ran. The house belonged to a man who lived alone. He's not there. We find his wallet upstairs and his phone on the kitchen counter. There are signs he'd been restrained in that basement chair. The blood matches him, a lot of it, but not enough to confirm he died there. He was never found. The neighbor who called 911 swore she heard a woman screaming. We never identified any female connected to that address. No signs anyone else lived there. The missing man's case is still technically open. That's what connects these stories. They all happened in the most normal neighborhoods you can imagine. The suspect who vanished from a locked room, the man forced to lose his own voice, the victim who disappeared from his own basement. What's hiding behind the doors in your neighborhood? And more importantly, what's hiding behind the ones you're too afraid to open? Thank you for staying until the end. If these stories from the night shift taught me anything, it's that we trust our instincts for a reason. And if a 100-pound German Shepherd trained to track criminals tells you not to go into a room, you listen. If you want to hear another story about the things that hide in plain sight, click here for my video on the 3 scariest encounters I've had in the woods at night. It's the perfect companion to tonight's stories. Subscribe to the channel because every week we bring you true stories from the job that you won't hear anywhere else. Before you go, tell me in the comments, which of these 3 stories stuck with you the most? The room Rex wouldn't enter, the man with the child's voice, or the basement that was empty? I read every single comment. I'll see you in the next story.